你好，我的学生们，我在那里，你知道吗？可以叫我老 Bob. Hi guys, welcome to Info 101. It's sweltering hot out, but the sky looks like a hazy shade of winter. That can only mean one thing. We're in Beijing in the summer. Well, I'd like to welcome you to Info 101 and tell you a little bit about what to expect from this class. So let me start by introducing myself. I'm Bob Boiko, Senior Lecturer at the University of Washington Information School. I'll be your instructor for the class. And I wear many hats. I am a teacher, consultant, author, businessman, and a technologist, a programmer in particular. I've been in teaching the last 15 or so years, and been teaching at the iSchool and teach all sorts of different classes. And if you come and be part of the iSchool, maybe we'll have a chance to work together some more. I'm a consultant. I've done information technology projects for the last 30 years. I help in all sorts of companies, big and small, with their information management needs. And you'll learn a little bit about what that means as the course goes on. I'm also an author, written a lot of books, as you can see on the screen here, and finally a businessman, started lots of companies, so I know a little bit about the internet business and how startups work and all that kind of stuff. And finally, I've been a technologist for a long, long time, since 1977, when I took my first programming class when I started college. So that's a little bit about me. If you want to know more about me, come on up and talk. I always love to talk to my students, so come on up and talk if there's anything more that you'd like to know or I can help you with. Okay, so there's a couple of things that you should know about this class. The first is that it's flipped and gamified. What that means is you do most of your primary learning for this class outside of class. You do a lot of your, well, not a lot, you do all of the learning materials outside of lecture. There is no lecture in this class. What you'll see when you come to class is that we do a lot of stuff, but we don't really do any lecturing. Maybe, 20 minutes out of the entire school year do we lecture. Okay, so that means it's flipped and you do the primary learning outside of class, and when you come to class, your job mostly is to perform, is to show us what you can do, what you know, how you can apply the stuff that you've learned yourself outside of class. It's also gamified, and that's a kind of a new term for a class where we use the metaphors of gaming, levels and XP and that sort of thing, to make it a little bit easier for you to understand, to make it a little bit more fun, and to try and make the class a little bit addictive, the way that games are. So you'll learn much more about that as the class goes on. But that's the first thing you should know. It's an experimental class, and every quarter that we teach this class, we're adding new things, we're changing things around, so expect things to break because they're new. Expect things to change a little bit over the course of the quarter as we learn. But more than anything else, we try to learn from you guys, learn what works, learn what doesn't work, and keep going forward, pushing forward this new era of information and new era of education along with it. Okay, so the main point, the thing that I want you to get from this class is to understand information systems. The class is called Introduction to Social Networking Technologies, but we have a much bigger fish to fry, and that is to get you able to understand all the different kinds of information systems that you use on a daily basis, whether it be Facebook or Twitter or gaming software like World of Warcraft or searching software like Google or any of the other modern information systems that you use. We're going to study those intensely, and we're going to study them, we're going to study those intensely. I want you to come away with a firm understanding of what they are and how they work so that you can be an educated consumer of those systems. What this course is not about is how to use these systems. I'm not really going to teach you anything about how to use Facebook. You can teach me how to use Facebook. And furthermore, I don't think that's the most important thing about these systems. You'll be learning how to use these systems your whole life. You'll be consuming new systems, eating them for breakfast, spitting them out for lunch, going on to the new system. No point in learning how to use them. What I want to teach you is, what are these systems? How do they work? When you pull back the covers on these systems, what do you see? What is the inner workings of these systems? What's common among all of these systems? How do you know what the issues are behind these systems? How can you figure out for yourself what the issues are behind these systems? So I'm not going to teach you how to use these systems. And for the most part, I'm not going to teach you how to make them either. We're going to do a little bit in building, but nowhere near what it takes to actually build a modern information system. And I think you'll have an understanding by the end of the course of what it would take to build a modern information system and how we could only scratch the base surface of that in our introductory course. All right, so This is a really important question to me. Why should you care about this course? Well, probably the name of it sounds intriguing, Introduction to Social Networking Technologies. You know you're all about those things, and that in fact is the first reason why you should be interested in this class, why you should pay attention to it. Because you're already all in with these systems. You use them all day long. Most of the people in this class are in front of a computer a really large portion of the day, as am I. So what's going on with these systems? If you're going to be using them so much, you should at least have some idea about what they are, how they work, how they influence you. Second, I want you to be one of the people who is ahead of information systems, not behind them. One of the people who create the systems, one of the people who decide about the systems, one of the people who make the policy about the systems, not just a kind of a naive user who does nothing but sit in front of the computer and consume these systems uncritically. I want you to be a critical user of these systems, and that's a lot about what we teach you in this class. Finally, and I think this is my most important reason for teaching this class and for wanting you to pay attention to this class, is I want you to help us figure it out. We're really just at the beginning of these systems, and nobody really knows how nobody really knows what the implications of them are, or which ones we should be creating, or what we should be doing about privacy or security or identity, or all these big issues that we'll tackle in this class. I want you guys to get an opinion about those. I want you guys to be informed. I want you guys to start on a lifelong trail of helping to figure out what we should do with these systems, what are good ones, what are bad ones, what kind of policy should we have about these systems, and just in general, what's the impact of modern information systems on our society and culture, and what should that impact be? We don't know. We, the people who've created them, we just created them because they're cool. And now the world is living with the implications of these systems, and I want you personally to be able to take a part in leading the future of these kinds of systems. That's what I want most of all from you in this class. We're going to look at information systems from three angles. From the technology angle, what it takes to make them. From the social angle, what do they mean for our society and our culture. And from the information angle, what exactly is the system? Notice they're called information systems. Few people know much about that idea of the information in an information system. I want you to have a good idea about what it means to be information and exactly how we make that happen in these systems. All right, we're going to have three systems as sort of our base systems that we work off of: Facebook, Google, and World of Warcraft. I chose those three systems because they represent a lot of the major aspects of information management systems, also because they're popular systems, and it's likely that you've either used them or you know lots of people who do use them, and so we'll be able to start from some stuff that you already know and some examples that are already right at hand. But we'll go into all sorts of other systems along the way. We'll deal with lots and lots of different information systems, and you'll see, I hope, over the course of the quarter, exactly what all those systems share and why they're useful, why they're interesting, why people want to have them. Okay, so what I want from you most of all is captured by my favorite quote from Harry Potter, and it's something Mr. Weasley says to Harry, and he says, never trust anything that can think for itself if you can't see where it keeps its brains. That's the way that I think about information systems. They're all thinking for themselves. They're doing things. They're acting upon you. They're doing things to you. And I want you to be able to figure out where they keep their brains, how exactly it is that they're doing what they do. What do they do and why? What are the motives behind it? And what can you say about that? What kind of opinion do you have about the motivations for why these information systems are being put together? Okay, I want you to see where the information systems put their brains. What do we want from ourselves, myself and the TAs? We want to use what we do to teach you. That's the whole point of this G-class system that you'll be using this quarter, is to use this very same technology that we use to build these information systems to teach you about the information systems. We call that eating our own dog food, and you'll hear a little bit more about that later in the course. We want to experiment. That's what we do at the iSchool. We're inventing the future of information systems. This course itself is part of the future of information systems. So we're teaching the future of information systems, but we're also helping to invent the future of information systems by the class software that we're using here. So our methodology, and there will be times in this class, I'm sure, because I've been doing this a long time, where we frustrate you because we're changing things, or because the system's not working right, or because there's a feature that I haven't yet implemented, or something like that. And what I want you to do is be very sensitive to that and work with us on it and use it as part of your learning of this class. This system the class uses is part of the world of information systems, and all the things that happen in this system are happening in that world in a larger way. Small system, they happen in a small way. Large system, they can happen in a very large way. So what we want to do is listen to what your experience is about this class, especially about how the class is taught, review what we're doing, and revise what we're doing. We're constantly going through the stuff in this course, revising and recreating it in a way that's better and better as time goes on, and you can help us with that. That's what we want from ourselves, to experiment, to listen, and to use what we already know to teach about what we already know. All right, this class works for you. We consider it a success. If you understand yourself a little bit better, if you understand your use and your opinions and what you think about information systems a little better, we will have been a success in this class. If you get literate about the terms and about the words that are used in the information management industry and in the information management systems and in the technology and in the information itself, I'll feel that you did well in this class and were successful. If you get an attitude, if you have an opinion that you didn't have before, that you could talk to, and that if you find yourself in a conversation about something and you're thinking, these people aren't thinking very deeply about this. I know a lot more about this, I've thought about this, I studied this, I've made some arguments about this in Info 101, I have a real opinion, and people start to look at you like, wow, you know what you're talking about. Then that's really success. I would love that if that happened with all of you guys. In the end, what I want all my classes to do is change your life a little bit. Why are you coming to school in the first place? What's the point of taking any class? The point of taking the class is that it changes you. It makes you a different person when you walk out the door of the class than when you walked in. And if that happens, I'll really consider this a success. I do want you to work hard. I want you to have to really try to make this class work. There's nothing in this class that's complicated like calculus or computer science or anything like that. But it is a lot of work, and it is a lot of thinking, and it is a lot of mulling through things and working through them and thinking about them and proving that you have thought about them. So I want you to work hard in this class as well.